Good morning, followers. Today's video is on data visualization. Have you ever experienced a situation wherein you have a huge data and you find it very difficult to present it to the audience? So data visualization helps you to present a huge data in a simplified manner, understandable, readable, and you can interpret it well. That's what we are going to work on. We have generally we have three types of data sets. We have time series data, we have panel data, or sectional data, although by nature or characteristics, others can say we have qualitative data, quantitative data, we have ordinal data, which is a mix of quantitative and qualitative, and the like. Also have binary, categorical, and the like. But in this case, let us just focus that we have time series data, panel data, cross-sectional data. But in this particular video, we are focusing on time series data. Time series data, data visualization helps you to present data collected over time in a graphical format. That helps you to understand the behavior of macroeconomic indicators in an economy. It helps you to quickly understand trends, seasonality, economic cycles, which include booms and busts, outlier or shocks. Very important. What will be our estimation steps? In this video, we'll plot line graph using line syntax. We'll also label variables. We label the graphs. We'll also add color to the lines or trends. We will also endeavor to identify structural breaks using exogenous approach rather than endogenous approach. Endogenous approach in determination of structural break normally is a scientific approach using model like biperon structural break test. For exogenous approach, you can determine structural break based on experience. For instance, in Sierra Leone, we experience number of shocks, like the structural adjustment program, those are policy intervention shocks, the war, the post-war, and of course, in 2015, we experienced the twin shocks that dropped GDP to minus 20%. We experienced alongside political shocks, even exchange rate regime changes, redenomination, and of course, we experienced corona and the like. So these narratives tell you that the researcher knows some of the shocks or economic shocks that have taken place since 1980 to date. So you'll be able to identify a structural break based on experience through what we call exogenous approach systems. So in addition, in this video, we'll develop or generate dashboard wherein we bring number of variables in a one interface. Then we'll plot a comparative line graph. In this very panel, you are expected, followers, let us make this program interactive. In this panel of comparative line graph, you are expected to interpret the graph and provide policy intervention based on the interaction of the macroeconomic indicators from the external sector and their impacts on the GDP, real GDP. Provide a policy intervention and you send to this email. Let me rewrite it again. Once you have done your contribution, you are encouraged to send your contribution to econometrics.research at gmail.com. And also, some of you that's interested to get the data to do your exercise, you need the do file to know the commands. You can also send your emails to this your information or your request to this email. Be able to react promptly. So that's what we are going to do. Now let us go into the exercise. Let us plot line graph. You first type the y variable, which is GDP. Actually, it's supposed to be real GDP. It is real GDP. Then the x-axis y. You click. There's the plot. There's the panel, right? But as it is, you can see that some information missing, like the title and also the y-axis label are not included here. So let us add title in this particular panel. Let us bring the same command. Now we need title. Say title. Let us title it as what? Sierra Leone real GDP growth 2000 to 2020, right? Let us put the bracket well, and let us read whether we've done the syntax well. Let us click and see what comes out. Now we have a title. We are Sierra Leone real GDP growth from 2000 to 2020, right? Then let us also label the y-axis, which normally captures the measurements of the variable. If you can type, or you can easily just bring down this command. You continue with it. So we say y title. This time around, we are interested to type to give name to the y-axis. Y title, we say R real GDP growth in percentage. Real GDP growth in percentage. Real GDP growth in percentage. That's our Y title. Let us see what comes up. Yep. We've also got a name for the Y title. Right now we have a title name for the panel, and also have a title name for the exact y-axis. Of course, the x-axis gives us the year, so we don't need to change that again. So it is already there. Also capture that. So what next do you think is important to add information? What's information that is also important here? You can see that this line, this trend, you see, is fluctuating. It's fluctuating all over here from 2000 to 2020. You can see that GDP experienced a lot of shocks and a whole lot of ups and downs in the economy, 2000 and 2020, right? Let us add color. Let us add color. Give color to the line for it to stand out correctly. You bring this same variable. This time around, we need a color, but it has to be included right immediately after line GDP here, comma. What you do, you say line color LCOL into. Let us give the line green. Let us give it green and see what comes up. Yes. Now we've given the trend as a green line. You see it's outstanding now. You can see it very clear. Given the title, the y-axis name, we also added column to this. Now, what is interesting also to know here, I told you that we need to identify structural break. There are so many shocks in this economy from 1980 to date. Experienced a lot of shocks, policy shocks, and war, political shocks, and all the rest of it. But most importantly, let us focus on the twin shocks, which consist of a drop in commodity prices and the Ebola crisis that hit the GDP to minus 20%. So that's what it is here. But you may want to indicate something outstanding. So the moment the reader sees this panel, it will captivate them that something, the author is trying to communicate something here. So we want to communicate a structural break in 2015. So let us add that in our syntax. So you keep everything the same as we've done. So what you can add here next is line, X line into which year? 2015. That was the exact break. This approach is called exogenous approach to identify structural break. So we enter, you see that of course we've identified a structural break in 2015 with a line. Let us at least give it something unique. Let us edit it here. What color do you think to be outstanding? Let us look for a color, outstanding color here. If it's blue, light blue, dark blue, let's give it a bright blue. Yes. So you can see that we're given the line, this particular shop, structural shop in 2015, giving it a blue line. So the moment you see this, you actually know that something is wrong here. And what the author is trying to explain here, that the year was a structural break in 2015, which is technically termed as twin shock. It was a twin shock, right? So what else did I say we have to go through? I said we need to create what we call a dashboard. Now, to create a dashboard, we have, let me cancel this. We have a GDP, we have import, export, and total trade balance. These are the macroeconomic indicators we have here. In other words, we want to see how the external macroeconomic indicators interact with the GDP. But in this time, let us first see how we can individually create these variables and bring them in a dashboard so you see them at a glance. That's what we want to do. So let's say we have what? We have, let's close this. We don't want to save. Let's bring this same command. If save command. Let's bring it here. What we need to add, for you to create a dashboard, you need to generate names of these variables or panels. When you create the panel, you name it. It's like we have to name 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 panels with specific names so that we'll be able to generate the dashboard. So here, let us say we name this as panel as O. Name it as O. The next one that we want to, that's for the GDP. The next panel that we want to generate is exports. So you do the necessary changes here. This variable GDP, we change it to exports. Export variable is here. What line we want to give it? The green remains for GDP, or for export, let us say it is red. The green line should be, the trend line should be red. So what will be the title of this particular panel or graph? We say Sierra Leone exports. Let's put it in cap. Sierra Leone exports. Sierra Leone exports from 2020, then what will be the y-axis labeling? We say exports as a percentage of GDP. Exports as a percentage of GDP, right? So the structural break remains the same, but this time around, let us name this as Kenema. Let us name this as Kenema. This graph Kenema has already been established. Where is it? Where is Kenema? Not done Kenema. Name, let us say Fita. We name this as Freetown. Name this as Freetown. Imports. Import is what? Import variable. Marking import variable is here. We say imports. Serial imports from 2000 to 2020. Y title imports as a percentage of GDP. The structural break time remains the same 2015. So let us name this as Lungi. Name this as Lungi. So we've got Bo, we've got Freetown, we've got Lungi. We have one more variable, which is trade balance. Collect this same syntax, not to waste time. You can type if you can. Oh, but be consistently using red. Let us use yellow this time around. Yellow. It says CL in trade balance. CL in trade balance from 2022. Then we say trade balance as a percentage of GDP. Trade balance as a percentage of GDP. X line. Then we say, oh, to give this Rema. So we've actually named all of these panels different names. I think we have Freetown. Where is it? Where we started? Was it Bo? No, Kenema was not. We have Bo, we have Freetown, we have Lungi, we have Rema. So let us create the dashboard. We say graph combine. Graph combine. What is the first name that we generated? We say Bo. Bo. We have Freetown. We have Lungi, and we have Rema. Right? Combine graph, yes. Go Freetown. Then you say column 2 and row 2. Let's see what happened. What may it be? 3D. Still reading. Let's see what comes up. Let's try it again. Yes, in fact, it was here. We generated it, right? So you see that the four variables at a glance, we've generated a dashboard. So one can copy this, you send it to your Word document, and you do your interpretation. You do it. At a glance, you can see that this is where GDP goes, this is exports, you see the behavior of this, and also you see imports, how it behaves, and of course trade balance, how it behaves here. At a glance, this makes it very nice. So the last point that I want you at the end of the day to make your comments, you interpret and say your policy uh, suggestions is the multiple graph. So we'll bring the same variables. This time around, we want to see how GDP, import, export, and trade balance interact. And one graph panel. That's what we want to do. So we say GDP, this variable here. Then we have exports. We have imports. Make sure that you type them the way they are here. Then you have trade balance. Trade balance, right? So I think we've done justice to this. When you click, on, sorry. Yes, in terms of color, we need to remove this free term. We are not naming it. Yes, the title should change. We remove this previous command, but we need the structural break. Should be in the graph or panel. So what are we going to do? What will be the title? What will be the title of this particular panel? So let us say Sierra Leone, we are GDP, exports, imports, and trade balance from 2000 to 2020. Do we need white title? No, let us remove the white title. Let us remove the white title for this case. Let us remove the white title. Then in terms of the color, what color do you want for real GDP? Let us say green. What color do you want for exports? Let's say red. Then what color do you want for import? Let us say blue. Then what color do you want for trade balance? Let's say yellow. Yellow. So we've specified our syntax or model: line, GDP, export, import, trade balance, year, variable, comma, line, column, color, line color into green, green for real GDP, red for exports, blue for imports, then yellow for trade balance. The title of this particular panel should be Sierra Leone real GDP, exports, imports, and trade balance. This is what we want. So let us see what actually will come up, what miracle will come up. The option white tie tool is yes. Where is the option of white tie tool? Yeah, this should not be here. We'll remove this altogether. We'll remove it. Now you see, look at the miracle. At a glance, we've seen that we've seen this panel. These are external indicators and their behavior with GDP. You know, the choice of this variable is very important. They give you a kind of a comprehensive understanding of what happens in the BOP. You and I know that in the balance of payments, besides the financial account and the capital account, the current account is the biggest component. In the current account balance, beside the primary income account and the secondary income account, trade balance is the biggest component. And in the trade balance is the difference between exports and imports, right? And the difference between export and import give us the trade balance. These are the key macroeconomic indicators in the external sectors we get here. So you can see that exports with blue is far away. Start from 40%, you see it's way above all other indicators. And if export is greater than, if imports, this is the imports trend for CLA, import trend from 2000 to 2020 is far away above exports. We see that there is a trade deficit, meaning when import is greater than exports, there's a trade deficit. You can see from -20 throughout for trade balance. It is in deficit from 2000 to 2020. So what is expected from you here to make this program interactive? You are expected to interpret this graph and you provide policy recommendations. And you send to this email, let me re-echo the email again, econometrics.research@gmail.com. A whole lot of red. So let me give it a text. That's what it is. So you can send your email to this email address that I've shared with you. Your comments, inquiring, if you want data, do file, I can also share with you. Our next video followers will be on how to edit your graph and import or export it to your Word document. How you can edit your graphs and export them to your Word document for analysis. That will be our next video. Thank you very much. Please make sure that you share this video. You can make comments, you like, and you continue to support this video, please. Thank you very much.